is the second one of these I've had. This one is chicken. The last one I had was vegetarian. It's very good. Very nice bread if this is the same as the last one was. Here I'm at the last stop at Rodaun, and I will come back here hopefully after I've completed my hike. And this is the hike. We're in the lower right where it says Rodaun, and we'll start there, and I think probably work to the right. Excuse me. We'll go down here to, I think it's Gas and turn left, and then we'll follow that up, cross the highway, and up straight up north to that pinnacle at Wilderberg, and then back down. Now I don't know if that's up or down. Picked up a couple pastries at the Spar grocery store, competitor for Biel, and walked down this main street, and here's our first sign. And I will alter my original plan and go in the direction of these arrows on the assumption that this represents local knowledge, which is usually infinitely superior to my own, except the local knowledge I got in the last hike with the first guy I talked to. But the second person's local knowledge was dead on. These fittings are interesting to me. There once stood a church here. But impressive walls, again, were they just to create a flat space up on top, or was there some other function? And what were these old walls for? Are they old? Was there an old estate in there, or were those walls protecting this edifice we're walking alongside of? Information signs like this should be all along the trail. Pretty good plan, really. This building to my left is probably just an outbuilding to this larger structure here. Whatever it once was, I have no idea. Pensionnat Saint Christiana. Perhaps a former estate, now a pretty school. I don't know. A lumbering trail off to the right, but I can't find any sign evidence that I should be going there instead of down this road, so I'll stick with the road. To illustrate the kind of foolish mistakes you can make, or simple mistakes, I got here, focused on that sign, and assumed that that was the continuing trail. Right next to it, it shows the signs going up. I just didn't look to the right to see it. And it does note that something about this church on the German description. And a pretty hike so far it is. So these pretty Vienna woods. Now we've just made a relatively short climb up a relatively steep hill from Rodaun to this bit of a pinnacle. And we'll continue downhill now. And I suspect we're going to end up wrapping around that hill and then back down there somewhere. On about an 8-mile hike. Pretty much walking a ridge line, looking back. The town on our right looks to be going up its own valley. And then on our left, that large quarry, it looks like. We'll see more of this. Let's come down this little knoll. We've got two trails, the one I'm on going to the right and the other going the other way. This looks like a full-on intersection, or somebody, I think, has created a compass. That may be, yes, north. Yeah, I think it's north or some approximation of it. But what I find interesting is this large wall suggesting someone's earlier great estate. Whoever made our little compass may have done this. It's sections created with logs that hold what look like forest products. Like the stonework. Not sure what this part's for. What its purpose is, I don't know. And here's a little wiki up. Is this just a kid's playground or project? Stories would this gate tell us, do you think? Obviously a corner of this sizable wall. Imagine the investment of building this thing out of stone, and as well as it's built, then plastering it, that special either cement or stone on top. I guess it's cement. Also notice those icons there, not icons, but the carving in the stone would have identified the corner. Is it a boundary marker? Does it identify also the owner? It climbs up the hill where I would suspect are the remains, in whatever form they're in, of the original home or edifice. Old road marker or gravestone, I don't know. But if that's a 7, then could we presume that the one has been obliterated? A road marker or an old gravestone? But in any event, if this is a 7, and it looks like it, could the one have been obliterated there, making that 1772? And then I don't know what this is down here. But what lies covered up by these trees? What does this path I'm following suggest about how the land was used in its day? How did this broken branch get wedged in between those two smaller ones? And notice that in the dead branch, the upper left, there's another branch that goes beyond those two vertical saplings and locks it in place. My only guess is that it fell in between those saplings when they were much smaller, and they grew up through it that way. Not sure I've seen flowers like this before here, or at all, if you look closely at them. This one says HL, and I think there's something underneath that moss, but I think it's too eroded or obscured to read. Lovely pastoral scene. It's the first scene we've had from that very lovely woods to be hiking through. And had my first, not really second, human contact. 2 bicycle riders went by on the trail. The trail is beautiful. It's either generally flat, a little bit of roll up and down to it. There's another stone, but I think it's somewhat different dimension and a little certainly different nomenclature on it. My bet is that this is somehow old property markers. Here we are at this farmhouse that has undergone some considerable addition to it. Just about finished up. And here our trail takes a right turn.